This is a video on how to learn to play the violin. And this is my volunteer, my brother, Edward. Say hi.
Hi.
To play the violin, we need to know all the parts first. On the violin, we have 4 strings, G, D, A, and E. Okay? So, looking at these 4 strings, you can see we have a lot of variation. You can go all the way down this, you put your fingers all the way down this string, all the way down this string, and the strings kind of overlap each other in terms of notes. And one thing you have to note is you should never put your fingers right here, because the oil on your fingers can create stickiness on the string, and you don't want that sticky sound. Try putting this on. Now the shoulder, you see how it goes firm on your shoulder? And now try putting your neck right on. Okay, here's the position of all the fingers, like this. Ring finger goes right over the frog. Pinky is on top and the very back, like this. And you notice how all my fingers are bent? So this is the kind of form you want, okay? And the thumb and middle finger, they're right next to each other. And then the ring finger, or the index finger, it goes right on this rubber black grip. Okay, so this is their form. Now I want you to try it. Okay, so. Okay, very nice. Okay, so we have the middle finger and the thumb right next to each other. The index finger goes right there, and your the ring finger goes right over the frog. So this is the kind of form. And I want you to relax this part, yeah. So you want all your fingers to have like this bend feeling. None of the fingers should go like this, okay? They're all like this. And I want you to kind of move the bow up and down. Very good. Just you know, like this. Okay. Very nice. So I want you to try this again. Okay. So let's put your violin up first. Okay, like this. Okay, and then your bow, remember, up. Correction. Alright, now let's try it again. So this is my video on how to play the violin. This is my student, Dan, my cousin. Say hi. Hi. So let's see here. To start off the lesson, we're going to first learn about the violin. There are lots of parts of the violin, but really all you need to focus on is this area right here. In here there are 4 strings, G, D, A, and E. You can see that there's a lot of spaces between the strings. That's where you place your fingers. Okay? And so have you ever played another instrument?
Yeah, I played the piano, the clarinet, and a little bit of the harmonica.
Okay, so you played other instruments before, like the piano. So, what is this note?
That's a D.
Yeah, okay, so that's a D. And on here, that is also D, right? Mm-hmm. So you can see that between different instruments, they play the same note, they just have different methods of playing that note. Mm-hmm. So you can see that there's a space between this D and this A right here, right? Mm-hmm. There's 3 notes. See, while on the strings, we have a D and an A. And in between those 2 strings are 3 notes. So you have A, you can count, or you can say the notes out loud for me.
Okay.
A, or D, sorry.
Okay. D, E, F, G.
And then A. So you can see how it's all connected. The notes on here are the same as the notes on here. Just the same thing with the clarinet. Placements. Okay, so on the bow we have these stickers I put on here just to make it easier for you. Try, see, just look at my fingers.
Okay. Good.
Just look at my fingers.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you hold it, just get a general picture.
Okay.
You see how the ring finger goes on that frog. The pinky goes right on that button right there,
Okay.
just kind of sits on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the middle finger goes right in that middle part. Index finger kind of rests against this rubber band. And then the thumb is actually in this little corner right here. Okay?
Okay.
So that's how it goes. Let's try it. Okay, pretty good. Just a little more. So yeah, the thumb and the middle finger, they're kind of forming a ring, but not really. The thumb is a little higher up, the middle finger is a little down.
So the middle finger and the thumb are not actually touching?
They're not actually
Okay.
touching, yeah. And so the middle, you can take a look right here. There's the frog right there, and then the, perfect.
Okay.
Like this. Okay, now try to hold it up. Now, the thing with the thumb is it has to be bent. All the fingers need to be bent.
They need to be done. Okay.
Yes, so like
So my thumb needs to bend a little bit more?
like this.
Okay.
And all of this finger needs to be bent. This finger needs to be bent. They're all bent
Okay.
like this. Perfect.
Okay.
Let's put the bow on again.
Okay.
Fingers in their respective positions. Very good. Good. Now let's try holding the bow and the violin together.
Okay.
There. Very good. Yeah, just like that. A little more curved. There we go. Perfect. All right. Now you're gonna rotate this so that your arm is like this. Perfect. All right. Now see where this placement is right here? Look on the bridge.
Okay.
This is where you want it to be. It doesn't look straight right now, but it is straight
Okay.
at this point. And you're gonna move the bow down. Try to
Okay. All the way down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make the loudest noise you can. There we go. Very nice. Now move it up and down. Down and up. Yeah, see? Try to keep on. Oh, too high. Very nice. You hear that sound?
Mhm.
That's the sound you want to hear. It's a very loud, confident sound, okay? Alright, now let's try that. Alright,
Bow first?
Button first.
Button first. All the way up here, and some of my faces touch right here.
So the chin is actually down. Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
So
I see.
you're not actually pointing at the violin, you're kind of resting your head to the side like this. Well, watch me. Like this. There we go. See? This is good. This is good right there. Very nice. Okay. Hold the bow. Alright, very nice. Yeah. Pinky on top.
Good.
Very good.
A little bit more bent.
Mhm.
Okay. There we go.
Alright, now I'm gonna assist you this time.
Okay.
So this is what you want to do. Let's go on the D string.
Okay. Okay. I can see that my forearm is remaining kind of a, it's kind of repeating the same motion, but my upper arm isn't moving.
Yeah,
Is that good?
that's fine, that's fine. Very nice. That's the sound you want to hear, okay? So when you practice this, remember that sound, and that's like that's kind of like that beautiful note you want to hear. And that's the note you're going to use when you're playing all these melodies. And so once you like master that note, you'll be able to play like okay? So that's what it says. You see how that's very sound and like solid? That's what you want to hear. All right. Thank you very much, Dan.
Thank you.
In my original lesson video, this was before obviously I took the class, and so I wasn't aware of the learning theories or lesson objectives for that matter. And so there were some positive things and some negative things regarding the video. Positive things were actually I did follow some of the theories unknowingly regarding, including social cognitive theory and even some behaviorism. So I kind of focused on the social cognitive and found how people learn from observing others' behavior. When I was modeling for Edward, the student, he followed my behavior, imitated it with the same motions. And also he was self-regulating behavior by remembering those motions after he learned them and without any prompting from me, so I thought that was pretty cool. Negative things, the lesson was kind of all over the place. I was trying to have them learn all the parts of the violin, learn the placement of the bow and the violin itself, and then play one note. And I thought that was a little too much information for him to handle, and that he probably wouldn't remember too much afterwards. And I wasn't very effective in trying to have him memorize any of the violin parts either. And so also I was a little inconsistent with praise. I believe that there are some places where I didn't give him the positive reinforcement he needed. When I gave him positive reinforcement after he managed to accomplish holding the bow correctly. But when he was holding up the violin, I didn't demonstrate for him and I didn't show him any reinforcement. And so I thought there were some inconsistencies and I wanted to fix that. The theories and strategies as I used for the redesign, I thought they were pretty effective. Starting with constructivism, the prior knowledge from Dan, he knew about, or he learned from other instruments, the concept of notes. He learned how to play A in the piano, he learned how to play a D or a G in his clarinet, and so I used that knowledge to connect with the violin. And so I played an A on the piano, I played an A on the violin, and I also played all the notes on the violin, 4 notes in a row, and he answered them correctly once he knew what the note was on the violin. So he made the connections between the piano notes and the violin notes. And so he was using his prior knowledge and transferring them over to the violin. Regarding the behaviorism, I was using positive reinforcements throughout the lesson, but I kind of focused on when he was playing the notes correctly in a very loud and consistent manner. And once I kept praising him, saying, "Hey, good job, that's a very good notes. You're playing it beautifully. That's the sound we want to hear." He was responding favorably by playing more of the same notes consistently. After a while, the note became pretty loud. He sounded very confident when he was playing. Regarding the social cultural theory, I was using scaffolding to place stickers on the bow. And what I did was I placed stickers where the fingers should be, so that when he held the bow, you can see where all the fingers should be placed. It was a very difficult task, but once he saw the stickers, he almost did it automatically after a while. And I didn't need any further prompting. I kind of had to correct his stance a little because there are some things that the stickers can't really tell you, like how you have to bend your entire hand. And so I had to correct him on that. But actual placement, he was very good. And I thought the strategies were very effective in that sense. Some changes I would make to the redesign lesson. I realized that students are different. That Edward had different difficulties and Dan, and he had different difficulties. Edward had problems because of his prior knowledge. He didn't really have any prior knowledge with the piano or other instruments, so he didn't know about music, the concept of musical notes. And I felt that I didn't address that in the first video. That if I had to reteach that lesson, I would teach him about musical notes more, focus more on that. And Dan actually had problems with just placing his neck on the violin. I wasn't expecting that in the redesign because Edward didn't have any problems with it. So I realize now that when I redesign the redesign lesson, that I have to account for things that maybe other people might have problems with that I didn't see in my previous students. I think that's about it. Thank you.